Blog Talk Radio.
Walk like, talk like, even think like you. The only one I could look to. You're teaching me to be just like you. Well, I just gotta be like, I just gotta be like you. Yeah, Uncle Chris, Uncle Keith, Uncle Ricky. Before the Lord get me, I gotta say something quickly. I grew up iffy since my daddy wasn't with me, shoot. I wasn't picky, I'll take any male figure. You stepped in at the right time. It's cause of you that I write rhymes. You probably never knew that. I love the way you used to come through. Teach me to do the things that men do. And true, you showed me stuff I probably shouldn't have seen. But you had barely made it out your teens. Took me under your wing. I wanted hats, I wanted clothes just like you. Lean to the side when I roll just like you. And care if people didn't like you. You wanna bang, I wanna bang too. Skyline, Pyro. You would've died, I would've died too. You went to prison, got sick, lost your pops, yeah I cried too. You never know who's right behind you. I got a little son now, and he do whatever I do. But it's something deep inside you that tell you it's gotta be more than doing what other guys do. They had nobody there to guide you, but I followed your footsteps, and this shouldn't surprise you. You realize you, yeah, I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you. Walk like, talk like, even think like you. The only one I could look to. You're teaching me to be just like you. Well, I just gotta be like, I just gotta be like you. Now all I see is money, cars, jewels, stars, womanizers, tough guys, guns, knives, and scars. Drug pushers, thug strippers, fast girls, fast life. Everything I wanted and everything I could ask life. If this ain't living then they lied, well, guess I married an old wives' tale. Wow, fail, I don't know another way to go. This is the only way they ever showed. I got this emptiness inside that got me fighting for approval. Cause I missed out on my daddy saying way to go. Ain't get that verbal affirmation. I know how to treat a woman, know how to fix an engine to keep the car running. So now I'm looking at the media and I'm following what they feed me. Rap stars, trap stars, whoever wants to lead me. Even though they lie, they still tell me that they love me. They say I'm good at bad things, at least they proud of me. I just wanna be like you. Walk like, talk like, even think like you. The only one I could look to. You're teaching me to be just like you. Well, I just gotta be like, I just gotta be like you, I was created by God, but I ain't wanna be like him, I wanna be him. The Jack Sparrow of my Caribbean. I remember the first created being, and how he shifted the blame on his dame for fruit he shouldn't have eaten. And now look at us all out of Eden, wearing designer fig leaves by Louis Vuitton, make believe it. But God sees through my foolish pride, and how I'm weak like Adam, another victim of Lucifer's lies. But then in steps Jesus. All men were created to lead, but we needed somebody to lead us, more than a teacher, but somebody to buy us back from the darkness. You can say he redeemed us, taught us that real leaders follow God, finish the work cause we on our job, taught us not to rhyme, but give life, love a wife like he loved the church, without singing how many hearts we can break first. I wanna be like you in every way, so if I gotta die every day, unworthy sacrifice, but the least I can do is give the most to me, cause being just like you is what I'm supposed to be. They say you came for the lame, I'm the lamest. I made a mess, but you say you'll erase it, I'll take it. They say you came for the lame, I'm the lamest. I broke my life, but you say you'll replace it, I'll take it.
I'm your host of Bully Talk with ZEB Pitts. First of all, I want to thank each and every ladies and gentlemen tuning in tonight to another episode of Bully Talk with ZEB Pitts. And tonight, my special guest is Antonio McCLENNY. He's the proud owner of ABKC Grand Champion, RKC Champion, soon to be Grand Champion, the real Rick Ross. And tonight we're going to learn a little more about him, family life, the XL Dogs, and much, much more, man. And let's bring them on tonight. What's going on, Antonio?
What's going on, Zev? How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. I really appreciate you coming on tonight, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. How was your weekend?
Not bad. Spent the entire weekend with my family, wife and kids, and just enjoyed, man, just being a father, relaxing.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Hey, so do we ask you real quick before we just really get into it, man? Who was your teams in basketball this year? Who you thought was going to make it to the finals? Did the teams you expect make it?
I expected the Heat to have another great season. To be honest, I'm a diehard Laker fan, so it hurt a little bit with Kobe being out, but, I expect us to have be able to bounce back for next year, but I'm pulling for the Heat to go ahead and do it again this year.
That's what's up. Well, we share that in common, man. I'm a hurting Laker fan right now, man. I don't know what my situation looking like right now. I don't know if we're going to be able to bring in any free agents. I don't know if anybody want to play with Kobe. So I don't know, man. So we'll see what's going on.
We'll see.
Hey, man, let's get right into it, man. Where you originally from?
Virginia Beach, Virginia. Born and raised right here in the Tidewater, Hampton Roads area.
Oh, man. So how's life down there in the Virginia Beach area, man?
I love it, man. I love it, man. This my family's here, mother, father, grandparents. Most of my family reside here in the Hampton Roads area. And, I think it's enough to do. Great place to raise your family. And great place to just settle in and enjoy life, man.
Hey, man, that must be nice, man. You just drive like, hey, I'm going to the beach today.
Yes, sir. I mean, I'm 10 minutes away from the ocean front, 15 minutes tops. No, it's not bad at all.
So that's what really kept you in the area, knowing surrounded with the family, and like you said, it's a good atmosphere to really live.
Yes, went away to college. At Ferrum, some private school, about 6 hours from here, and I finished up, got my bachelor's degree. I'm looking for job opportunities, and I decided to just head on back home and see could I just settle up here, and so that's why I was able to find a job and move on from there.
Now, let me ask you, what you get your degree in?
I have a bachelor's in social work and psychology, and I have a master's in education. I plan to go back and get my PhD sometime soon, but just trying to take my time because it's definitely a tall order to go back and get that doctorate. So that's it.
I got to ask, man, growing up, did you see yourself getting into the social work and psychology?
Not at all. I saw myself, to be honest with you, I saw myself playing football. Played 4 years of high school, went to college, went to a small school, but, I was able to post numbers and, got a few opportunities to work out for a few NFL teams. Got hit with that injury bug and, so that one went out the window, and so I saw myself doing something active, but I really didn't see myself really going into, the social work, psychology, school counseling area at none whatsoever. And, I knew I wanted to work with kids. I knew I wanted to be influential and, kind of mold some of these young people out here. And so, I went that route, to try to hit them before they catch them in school, and hit them before they kind of get on that bad road and start doing some things that they didn't have any business doing. So.
Now, once you got into it, did you realize that you would really enjoy what you were doing at the time, or you wasn't really quite sure how it was going to turn out?
Well, when I first graduated from college, my dad owns an asphalt company, and so I was a supervisor for him on this with his company for a while. But he, I made good money with him, but he wasn't happy because I had a degree, and he felt like I wasn't utilizing my talents, my real ability. And so, with his pressure and just kind of pushing me to, use what I've learned, I decided to kind of go the route of the school system. And once I got into it, I realized this is where my gift is, man. This is where my true talent lies. So I enjoy it. I truly do.
So once you find the time, because you say eventually you want to get your PhD, what do you see yourself doing once you get your PhD?
Ultimately, my goal is to be a principal of a school. That's my ultimate goal, to be a principal. So eventually, I feel like it'll happen. Right now, I'm not ready to take those steps in that direction, but eventually it'll definitely happen for sure.
How are the school systems in your area?
I think they're great. I think they push the students to think about more than the present, to think about the future and the things that they want to do later on in life. And I think they do a great job. I really do.
I had to ask that question because you got are your kids in elementary yet?
My daughter.
Now, what's up with this new math they doing, man? Before you used to, you cross out and, carry the one, and now it's just a whole new type of math they got going on, man. It's not the same as when you and I went to school, man. They changed things, man.
Well, for me, I was never really good at math anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Right now I can still help my daughter with her little homework because it's just basic. But I don't really have to really deal with that too much. And if I do, I married a very, very intelligent woman, so she can definitely handle that part for me.
Speaking of being a family man and being married, man, when did you get married and how did you meet your wife?
I got married when I was 24. We got married at 24, purchased our first house at 24, and had our daughter at 24. So it was a big year for me. I met her when I was 19 in college. She had already graduated from the University of North Carolina, and she was a cheerleader there. And I saw her, and I was like, man, I gotta have her. So I chased her for about a year, and then eventually we were able to kind of get together.
Because I was going to ask you, man, when did you know she was the one that you was like, man, I know that's the one I'm going to marry? Do you remember that day?
I wouldn't necessarily say it was a day. I think I knew she was the one when I was working. I came home on break and I was working, and I went to the mall to buy something, and I bought her some gifts for no reason, just no apparent reason. I walked back. I came home. At the time, I was a college student, so I was staying at home with my parents, and so I walked in the house and my mom asked me what I bought, and I pulled out all this stuff for her. And she said, well, why'd you buy it? I was like, just because. And she was like, boy, you in love. You got it bad because you don't never spend your money on anybody but yourself. And so that was it.
Talk about how the moms go through the process of grilling her, because you know how mothers are.
I think my mom she's a hands-off type of mom. She'll talk to me and school me, but my mom took to her immediately. My mom loved her energy, her positive vibe, her bubbly personality. With me having played football for so many years, I wouldn't necessarily say not being the nicest guy. My mom loved the fact that, that she kind of smoothed some of those rough edges that I had. So, she definitely took to her.
Talk about the experience. Were you in there when she delivered your firstborn?
Yes, sir.
Talk about that experience of seeing your firstborn child. Because I remember, man, I was nervous as all out there.
Yeah, I was very nervous. I think it was the perfect day. I think I experienced all the emotions all at once. I wanted to laugh and smile and cry and worry and everything all at the same time. I would probably say with all the things that all the things that we, as a couple, and all the things that I personally was able to accomplish, that was the greatest feeling I had ever experienced in my life. Was the birth of my daughter. I think it changed me. I know it changed me, for the better. So, made me kind of slow down a little bit, stop and smell the roses, and just really enjoy life.
Is she a daddy's girl?
That's right. That's my girl. That's my girl. I take her everywhere. I coach high school football. If she can come with me there, she's there. If I'm outside washing the car, she'll come help me wash the car, do the dogs, everything. That's my ace.
You say you coach high school football too?
Yes, sir.
How is that? How are you enjoying that so far?
Enjoying it. I've been doing that for the last 6 years. Right now, I'm back in my high school. I graduated Ocean Lakes High School in Virginia Beach, and we played for the state championship a year ago, and we lost by 3. We went 14-1, and this year we made it to the third round of the playoffs, and we lost by 3 again. So, great experience. Good to work with young people. I feel like I made it so far, using football, and it's my opportunity to give back and to really be an influence in some of these kids' lives. So it's major for me. It's major to to really help these young men go on to college and not have to pay for it.
Well, you've had some athletes come out of that area, right? Like the Allen Iversons and the Michael Vicks come out that area. So I would say sports is pretty big in that area, right?
Yes, sir. We have some young talent, there now. Our biggest name that came out this year was Derek Noddy. He just signed a full scholarship with Florida State, and then we got some. The year before with the Dimitri McGills, and then currently there now, with Javani Simmons. He's my middle linebacker. I mean, he has offers from anywhere from Alabama to ODU to Virginia Tech, UVA, and so it's a lot of talent in this area. But most of all, just being able to give back and help these young men, grow up and be men. We got to teach them more than just football. Teach them more than just X's and O's. I gotta teach you some life skills, some things that you can transition, help you transition into life, and make that a little easier for you.
Speaking of life, give me the order of importance in your life.
God, number one. I couldn't do anything without him. My family, and I would say God, my family, my career, and my dogs. That's it. And family is a broad spectrum, of course, but it's
correct.
That right there, God and family, that's everything. And then the career, and then my dogs and what I do with them. But I'm a man of God first, and my family falls second to nothing else. My family, that's it. That's everything for me.
Speaking of God, how important? Talk about how important He is in your life.
I would. It's definitely major. Growing up in the church, having participated, being very active in the church. That's where my strength comes from. That's I need it. I need them. I know I need them. Just being able to just guide me through life, and I feel like He's always there for me. I feel like I can call on Him and talk to Him anytime I need Him, even when I don't need Him, in the good times and the bad times. Trying to stay even keel, not riding the highs with the highs and the lows with the lows. Just consistently talking to Him, and that's it. I don't really talk God a lot, talk religion a lot, just because I think it's a sensitive subject. I think everybody have room for improvement within their preference or beliefs. So for me, I got enough things to do to work on myself. I'd rather not try to correct somebody else's way of life and the way they're living. I would much rather just concentrate on myself and my family.
Yeah, because that's a good point. Because you don't have to be rah-rah in someone's face about it. You can just lead by example and by the work you do. People can see God through you, through the works that you do.
Yes.
Without having to be a rah-rah person, because the one that moves in silence and you can see how they are as a person generally, then you can see the God through them. So you don't have to, I agree with that.
Yeah. My biggest thing is I don't ever want to be a hindrance or a stumbling block for somebody else. So I would rather just, focus on myself and the things that I need to get right, and the things that I'm doing right to continue to do them right, and basically, just be a living example, not as much vocal, but,
No, we all go through the trials and tribulations of life where we're tested. So I'm gonna ask you, what's the toughest thing you had to deal with in your life, and how did you grow as a man from the experience?
I'll probably say the toughest thing I had to deal with in my life is when my parents got a divorce. I was about 7 or 8 years old. Through their circumstance, for whatever reason, they got a divorce, and just my dad just got hit with life. He got hit with life, and it beat him down, and he went a different route and wasn't there. He left me when I would say 7 or 8, and I didn't really speak to him again until I was 18. But as a man, it taught me that I think that you'll grow up and be who you're supposed to be regardless of your situation. I think a lot of people, that you have the argument nature versus nurture all the time. And I think certain people will be who they're supposed to be regardless of their situation. And so I think as a man, it taught me that I can grow up and I can be anything, that I'm not a statistic. Typically they say, if you come from a divorced home and your father was on drugs and alcohol and this and that, more than likely you'll do that, and you'll do that same thing, and you'll follow that same path. But, I don't want statistics to be able to say who I'm supposed to be, So I would probably, that was it for me. It forced me to grow up. It forced me to be a man. It forced me to challenge myself. It forced me to do things that my parents didn't do. Graduate from high school and go on to graduate from college with a bachelor's degree, and then, going on to get my, to receive my master's as well. So, it just instilled in me a work ethic, not to depend on anybody but myself.
Was it tough to forgive, or are you still going through that process?
Now, my father and I have a great relationship. I didn't say that I didn't have a influential man in my life. My mom was able to, she got remarried, and I call him. He's my stepfather, but I refer to him as Dad as well. He was a great guy. He was there for me. He taught me, how to grow up and how to be a man, and so he's still major in my life. In fact, he come to shows with me and travel with me, showing the dogs, and now with my dad, my biological father, having come back when I was 18, we have a great relationship now, and it's all good as far as the forgiving. It took me a little while to forgive him, but I was able to definitely forgive him. I had to do it more for myself. It took a while. We had a few tough conversations. A bunch of tough questions was asked. A bunch of tough answers was given, and all in all, I think we respect each other as men, and we respect the fact that we all make mistakes, and I definitely forgive him for it, and I think he's doing a great job in making up for lost time.
Okay. Speaking, was it going through that? Could your wife see you go through that process? I guess during that time. Well, I guess. Did you bring some of that hostility into the marriage? I guess that's what I'm asking. Or you was like, I'm not. This is not who I'm going to be. I'm gonna do things a lot differently.
I didn't necessarily say I would do things a lot different. I said that that failure isn't an option for my marriage. Failure isn't an option.
Yeah, that's what I guess that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
So when I asked my wife to marry me, we had talked about marriage and all of that before, but we had come to an understanding that she came from a divorced family. I came from a divorced family. Failure isn't an option. I think once you have kids and once kids are involved, your things change, your feelings change, and it's no longer about you and how you feel. It's about your children, and you have to do what's best for them. And, you know, we are firm believers that, you know, it takes a special person to be a step-parent. But I really believe that, you know, no one will love your kids like the parent. No one will love them like you. And no one will work as hard for them but you. And so, you know, we tell each other, you know, through hell or high water, we will stay together. We're going to stay together. We're going to fight for this. We're going to fight for it, you know. That's it. For the sake of my kids, we will fight.
All right. Let's get into the dogs, man. When did your passion develop for the dogs and specifically the American Bully?
I grew up around pit bulls. I had pit bulls all my life. My family, my mother's side and my father's side. So that's always been the breed of choice. And then I think in 2005, either between 2004 and 2006, I went to my first major bully show. It was a bully show in Atlanta. So we loaded up a Tahoe and we went to Atlanta. And it was the first time I seen, I think Suarez. He had the dog Paco, and I seen the dog Legend, and I fell in love.
91 West Legend.
Yeah, I think he's
Gotti Lines Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, sir. And I mean, he pulled him out of I don't know the owner's name. You know, whoever you are, man, I salute you because you pulled that dog out of the kennel, and I mean, I think I just wanted to sit down on the ground. Just like, wow, you got to be kidding me to actually make dogs that look like this. So that was it. I mean, from that point on, man, I've been hooked. I
want to backtrack a little bit before we get into the American Bully because you was talking about how big, you know, the pit bulls are in your area. And just thinking back, what was the talk like during the time with the whole Michael Vick scandal down there? And to your knowledge, because, you know, he talked about how, you know, dog fighting they thought was something that was normal down there. You know what I mean? In that area. So what was the talk like after the whole Michael Vick scandal in your area when that all came about?
Well, I think you had people with mixed emotions. You had people that, you know, that said that was the worst thing in the world, and then you had people that had grew up around it and sort of felt about it how he felt about it. You know, hindsight being what it is, it wasn't a good thing. But I think the area really bashed the breed as a whole, whether it was a pit bull or American bully, any bully breed. I think, you know, this area somewhat shunned that particular bully breed. And so, you know, it didn't stop me one way or the other. It didn't stop me one way or the other.
Because I guess going in the direction with the question was doing right after that, did BSL really start to get tight in your area? Did they, like, the rules change as far as having pit bulls in that area?
No, I don't think any rules changed. I don't think any rules changed. I think they really cracked down on, you know, the cities really cracked down on making sure that you had your city tags and that your dogs were registered and that your dogs were up to date on the shots. But for the most part, I didn't really see any major change. I think people, you know, I think some people, like I said, I think it was a lot of mixed emotions about it, you know, but, you know, all in all, I think he made a mistake. You know, he should be forgiven of his mistake, and that's it. We move on. I think there were worse things done in the world. That's just my honest opinion. You know, I totally agree, I don't condone it.
You know, there's a lot of people throwing stones, man. But you can't throw stones with a glass house, man.
Oh yeah, I think everybody have their own skeletons. I think everybody got their own skeletons. I think everybody got their own dirty laundry. You know, I say, you know, keep your skeletons in the closet, and dirty laundry isn't meant to be aired. I think it's meant to be put in the washing machine. You know.
Now, going back to the Bullies, you talking about the show down in Atlanta that you went to. That was your first Bully show, correct?
My first big Bully show, yes, sir.
Big Bully, okay. Now, there's two contrasting styles that you saw that you said you liked. That was the Paco, the Pocket style, and then Legend. Now, once you saw Legend, was that the style you said, that's what I'm looking for?
That was the style that I fell in love with, just a big dog to XL. The thing that attracted me to Paco and his owner is how well trained that dog was, and how when he pulled the dog out of the kennel and when he took that dog in the ring to show that the dog, it seemed like the dog knew what he was supposed to do. It was like they were in unison, like they were in one. It seemed like the dog could have went out there and did it by itself. You know. And so in my mind, I was in love with the XL, but I was in love with the, you know, how well trained that dog was. And so, you know, I was, you know, looking at it, and I said, well, have anybody ever taken a XL and, you know, trained them up and kind of, was anybody able to go and win like that with an XL and have that dog that well trained and ready to go, and, you know, have that show appeal, and that, you know, I just hadn't seen it. And so, you know, that was my combination that did it for me.
Do you remember I'm questioning. What was your first Bully? Where did you get your first Bully?
I actually got my first Bully from my cousin, Ashley, with Big Ego Bullies. And I would he gave it to my daughter. He gave it to my daughter. And you know, I just worked with the dog and worked with her. And I tell people to this day, I think she was the greatest story never told. I think I put so much time and effort into this dog, I could get her to do anything. And I was just so afraid to get out and actually put myself out there and get in the ring and actually show her. I was just afraid to do it. And so I never did. And so if I could go back, that would probably be the one thing that I would go back and do different. I would put her out there.
Talk about your first time in the ring.
Nerve-wracking. The very first time I stepped foot in the ring, it's just nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking. I think the dog was inexperienced. I was very inexperienced. The dog, looking back on it, the dog didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. And we went out there. I think we did pretty well, considering we had never been in the ring. And I said that I had been working with the dog, and I was working with him, but compared to how we work now, we weren't working. And so I think, you know, and so I would say that. So I remember the judge. It was Lou Manapon. It was an ABKC show. It was a Bully Root show. And, you know, I showed him, and we didn't place. He was 10 months, so I had to show him in the standard class. So, of course, he was way too big to be in a standard class. But, you know, either way, he didn't show well enough to place anyway. So, you know.
From that point on, did you get the itch to really start perfecting showing in the ring?
He was 10 months at that time. I said, okay. I realized that he's way too big to show in the standard class. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take him home and work with him for the next 2 months. And the next time I pull him out, we're going to get a ribbon. And I said, we're going to get a ribbon. No matter what, I don't care if I get a third place. I have to get a ribbon. And so we went to a Lumberton show, Lumberton, South Carolina, Lumberton, North Carolina show. And again, I got nervous, and a friend of mine from Country Grown Bullies, Benjamin Bassett, showed Ross for me. And it was a double show. He took Ross out there for me, and Ross won his class, both shows. And for best overall XL, he lost. He got reserve XL. And so, we came home from there, and we worked some more. And I had to sit down with my wife, and she said, so why'd you let somebody else show him? And I said, because I didn't know what I was doing. And she said, well, I think you need to figure out what you're doing. You need to sit down and you need to read some books and you need to talk to some people, but you need to figure out what you're doing. And so, she had one of them mama, wife, get your tail in gear type conversations with me. And so, and so I started reading up and started talking to people. And they didn't throw it all at me at one time, but they gave me some pointers here and there, some things that I could work on a little bit at a time. And the next shows after that, we were able to win, best in class and best XL. From that point on, I don't think he lost XL class.
Speaking on advice, how hard is it to get advice from other handlers? Is it hard to get tips and pointers because everybody's so competitive and want to win themselves?
That's the reason why it took me so long to kind of talk to certain people, because I'm a very competitive person, and I feel like if I have a competitive edge, I used to feel like if I have a competitive edge, I don't want to share it. And I was at a show. I was at another show, and Anthony Gray, he shows a lot with ABKC, and he kind of came over and he said, "Man, you got a nice boy," and he showed me a few pointers, gave me some things that I need to work on, and some things that I should pay more attention to. And how to stack them, how to gate them, and so I'm really appreciative of him, kind of just pulling me to the side and doing that for me. And then I would watch him in the ring. I would watch Jerry Presley in the ring, Julie, Kyle, Mo Barrow. I would watch those guys in the ring and just watch them. And it wasn't that I really knew what I was doing, but, I just saw so much success. I saw them seeing so much success, and it was like, man, they must be doing something right. And so that's it.
You
so
have...
I just started applying it.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I was going to say, you have ABKC Grand Champion and RKC Champion, probably soon to be Grand Champion, and the real Rick Ross. How did you go about getting him?
My partners, Chris and Susan Mitchell, before we actually became a group, we were just friends, and I actually helped them get their first dog, their first bully, and they purchased their first bully. And they named him Maximus, and then they got a website, and it was Maximus Prime, and then they did they purchased a few more dogs, a couple Muggleston females, and it was just really they were pets, and they did a breeding. They did a couple breedings, but the one breeding in particular that they did was for Ross, and Ross was like the third pick or something like that. He had a couple dogs that definitely looked better than him, heads and tails. I mean, they were definitely better than him. And so Ross was actually sold as a pup and sold to a lady in the military. she had to go overseas and, out to sea, and she couldn't keep the dog, so she brought him back. And so she only had him maybe a month. So, I got Ross. I was there when he was born, and she brought him back when he was about 3 or 4 months. I said 4 months old. And then Chris called me. He was like, Tony, hey, man, he said, I really feel like this dog could be something great if he was put in the right hands. And, so he told me to come over and check him out. And so I went over and I saw him, and I just started shaking my head. And he said, Tony, man, just trust me, man. He'll be great. And I was like, Chris, I'm good at, making a dog look a certain way, but, I can't walk on water, buddy. And I don't think he's going to turn out. But he said, just take him. I was like, okay, I'll take him, and he'll be my daughter's dog. My daughter will play with him. It's fine. And then he just started changing. And it's been all uphill from there.
Hey, just talk about the video or mini short film that you made. That was original and creative. Showing how you got Ross. It was
Okay.
real creative. Talk about
Okay.
that. What was the concept and the idea behind that?
Well, I kept on seeing a bunch of videos of, people would post videos of their dog. And so I went to my partners and I said, man, maybe we should do a video. And instead of having the dogs run around, we give the people an opportunity to get to know us or just to see us and who we are. And so I said, well, I just want to kind of give them a glimpse of Ross just to create a little buzz, but not give them too much to where they can critique them and tear them apart, because I really feel like the bully world is so critical of dogs when they're young, and they don't really give the dog an opportunity to really grow and develop. And I think that has a lot to do with the owners of the dog, too, because they put the dogs out so young. But the idea was just to do something different. And so, at 10 months, I felt like he was going to be a great dog. I felt like he was going to be something special. And so I said, well, I want to do a video. And so that's how we just came up with it and ran with it. We came up with the idea and just ran with it.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, man, it was real original and creative, man. That's different. Thinking outside the box, man. I enjoyed it, man.
Thank you.
Talk about the experience. We're gonna start it in ABKC world and then work our way over to the RKC. Talk about the experience of championing out the real Rick Ross in the ABKC, because people talk about the politics of judging in the ABKC. But you were able to champ out Rick Ross and make him a grand champion. So what's your thoughts on that? Because you were talking about the handlers that before, and you know how the talk is. Everything is the politics of judging that they say.
Yes.
But you were able to grand champ out Rick Ross. So what's your thoughts on
that? In the beginning, I talked to a few people, and I went on the website, and I really wanted to find out how many XL Grand Champions they were. And at the time, when I started with Ross, it was only I want to say 2 or 3. I know Grand Champion Saki Bomb was one, and I think his White Knuckles was one, and then Caribou Lou came after that. And so, with the ABKC, people were saying, he'll champ out for sure, but he won't ever be able to grand champ because the judges don't like big dogs and this and that. And so, I just kind of tuned him out, man. I kind of tuned him out. I feel like it's politics and everything. I feel like it was room to work. I think it was an opportunity to work, and I think a lot of people in the bully game, regardless of the registry, they try to take the easy way out and look for an excuse. And so I didn't take no for an answer. We just kept working. And we didn't cry and complain. We would, when he champed out, we put him in a few champion classes, a bunch of champion shows, and we just got spanked. I mean, no reserve, no nothing. And, you know, I just told my partner, I said, man, we're going to keep on pushing, man. Ross is young. He hadn't even turned 2 years old yet, so his body hadn't started really maturing yet. I said, man, we just got to keep pushing. We got to keep pushing. And they kept telling me, you know, my partners were very encouraging. You know, they just kept telling me he's young, just keep pushing, keep pressing. And as you get better as a handler, he'll continue to get better, and I think the results will speak for itself. And so with the ABKC, man, we just kept pushing. And we had a few judges that kind of, you know, pulled us to the side and, you know, just gave us a few pointers and tips here and there when I would ask after the show was over. You know, I talked to Rolando Mata, you know, and a lot of them, they probably have no clue who I am, but, you know, after the show is over and they've already relaxed or whatever, you know, before I head out, I would, you know, walk over and ask, you know, how should I do this or how should I do that? And so between Rolando Mata and Derek Dennis and Jason Griggs and Lou Manapon, I think, you know, they gave me a lot of tips, and I appreciate it. So we were actually able to win our first Best in Show, our first Best of the Champion and Best in Show under Erica Reamer. And once I won that first champions class, I said, man, I know I can do it. I know I can do it. If you know, she felt like he was the best dog out there, I can compete. I know I can compete. And so we just worked to get better.
How satisfying was it once you became grand champion? Did you feel you like, okay, I've done what I've done, and you decided to, I guess where I'm going with the questions, once you became ABKC Grand Champion, you decided to take a shot and begin the journey in the RKC. What was your first RKC show, and what was the deciding factor to take a shot over there?
All right, well, I'll start with the first part of the question. After we Grand Champ with ABKC, I felt like we still had, I hate to say a lot to prove, because I don't really feel like I think you're proving it more so to yourself than to anybody else. But I really felt like Ross had a lot more to show people. I felt like we had accomplished what in ABKC what only four other XLs had ever done. And so, I felt great about it. And I felt like I was definitely amongst elite company. And then with RKC, that's what kind of, you know, pushed me to go to the RKC is, you know, I feel like if you have a great dog, regardless of the registry, he should be able to compete, and his results should still be able to speak loud and clear, regardless of the registry. And so my first RKC show was last year in Greensboro, North Carolina. It was a show thrown by Irvin Moore, and it was just on a whim. I sent in my RKC paperwork the week before. Great turnaround by the RKC office. You know, received my paperwork back, received my RKC number, and then we drove down Saturday and we entered him into his first RKC show, and he won first in his class, Best XL, Best Overall Male, and Best in Show at his very first RKC show.
Talk about the experience over at the RKC, because it seems like you're really enjoying yourself.
I do. I think it's a family atmosphere. I think it's still very competitive. It's still very competitive. I don't. I think you might hear people say, well, it is less competitive. I don't think so. I think it's just as competitive. I think the people are just as passionate. And I enjoy it, man. I think they, I really love the fact that they welcome everybody. I really love the fact that, they preach family and they welcome you as you are, So.
Yeah, it was. I remember when I first met you down at the Greensboro show, man. It was that was a nice show, man, and real, like you said, just a real nice family atmosphere. Not saying that I don't get the, because I get the same experience over at the ABKC shows as well. It's just they I tell you, them Carolinas, man, they passionate down there, man.
Oh yeah, I agree, man. I've shown in ABKC, currently pushing hard with RKC, and I've shown with IBKC, and all three of the registries, man. I to the CEOs or the founders of those registries, man, my hats go off to all of them, because without them, without their platform to show the dogs, to show the bullies, what would we be? So, my hat goes off. I think you'll have critics everywhere you go, regardless of the registry. But most of all, man, I appreciate the registries, man. I appreciate the registries. I don't knock any of them, and I think all of them have their good and their bad. But most of all, I think they, the good outweigh the bad in all the registries. So I love it. I love it.
Do you, because you had mentioned the IBKC, you plan on champion? You trying to go for that too, also?
One at a time.
One at a time.
For sure.
I hear you.
We have 3 best in shows with IBKC, and so currently I only need 2 more wins, and we'll also be a IBKC champion as well. But right now I'm focused on the RKC with Ross. I'm definitely focused on the RKC and continue to make his name and continue to make his mark there. Right now, currently, they do not have any XL Grand Champion in the RKC, and my goal is for him to be an RKC Grand Champion, whether he's the first one or the last one. I feel like it's a major accomplishment, and I think it puts him amongst elite company. But as of now, there are no XL Grand Champions, and so with good health and good strength and everything continue to flow in the direction that it's flowing, I really feel like Ross has a great chance to be that. Nothing is guaranteed, so I don't want to say he's guaranteed to be an RKC Grand Champion. Nothing is guaranteed because it's a lot of competition, and so we still have work to do. So we still work as though we're not a champion or a grand champion. We still put in work every day. We don't miss a day.
What gives you the passion to show and handle your own dogs in the ring now?
Well, like I said in the beginning, I played football for years, and I needed something. When I got hurt, that was major, because between my wife and myself and my family and my coaches, we felt like, that football would definitely, I would be able to take football to the next level. But getting hurt, I wasn't able to do that. But, being able to direct that passion and that fight and that effort and that fire into something else, that's what I needed. And so, doing this, it helped me out a lot. And so basically that same passion and that same energy and effort that I put into football, I basically put into the Bullies, and I put into my program and, working with my dogs and so I think that's my competitive edge, that I might not know more than you. I might not know as many people as you. I might not be as tapped in as you, but you will not outwork me. You won't. You won't outwork me.
What's your thoughts on professional handlers?
I like them because I learned so much from them. In particular, Kathy Lane, Miss Kathy Lang Russell, Mrs. Kathy Lang Russell. I mean, I am forever indebted to her. She is an awesome lady, and I've been, blessed enough to have taken, have a few sessions with her, personal sessions where she's shown me a lot of things that I just didn't know, the ins and outs of handling and, everywhere, down to, how I should dress, down to my expression on my face, my hand placement on my lead, how fast or slow I should gait, back my dog properly, how to show the bite properly. She is, I'm forever indebted to her. I'm forever indebted to her. So, I can't say enough great things about her and what she's done for my ability and my game, my overall game in the ring.
Let me ask you, how irritating does it get for you or frustrating when you see someone else that's in the ring that you can tell didn't spend any time with the dog, but then jumps in the ring and then don't show the proper etiquette, of congratulating the winners and just stomp out the ring? Have you ever seen that?
I have. For me, I think just not knowing. I think that it's just not knowing. But I don't really feel like it's an excuse, because when you go to shows, a lot of times, of course, you want to network and you want to socialize a little bit and you want to get to know certain people and see different dogs. But, for me, when I go to shows, even now, I network. I do network. But once that show starts, I'm near the ring. I want to watch the handlers. I want to watch the judges. I want to kind of, get a feel for, how the judges pick and, what I should do in the ring. And so when I was young in showing, and I still think I'm very young in showing, but less experienced than I am now, I would look at these other handlers and, the etiquette. And so I didn't necessarily know why I was doing it, but I was like, okay, well, Anthony Gray just won best in his class and best in breed, or Anthony Gray just lost, and, he still said congratulations, and he shook everybody's hand, and, when he walked out of the ring, he still has a smile on his face, Jerry Presley the same way, and these people I really don't, they're not friends of mine. I think they are associates of mine. I don't really know them on a personal level, but, I just watch them so much in the ring, that, some of the, I think you don't really have an excuse for not really knowing proper etiquette in the ring, because there's so many great examples out there for you.
Speaking of judging, you're starting to see now, a lot of handlers become judges. Could you see yourself one day becoming a judge? Is that a goal? Is that one of your goals?
I would say so. I think ultimately I would I still have a lot to learn. Just to be completely honest about it, I still have a lot to learn. I think I still have a lot to prove to myself as far as showing and what I'm able to do and accomplish in the ring as a handler. I think it's a lot easier for the competitors to respect the judge's opinion when they've shown that they can win. I think it's a lot easier for them to respect their opinion when they've shown that, listen, I've taken a dog from nothing to grand champion, and I've done it with more than one dog. I think that's major. So I could see myself eventually, trying to venture into judging, but at this very point, and in early career. I still have a lot to prove, a lot to learn too.
What's your thoughts on exotics and micro movement?
Okay. I think it's different. I think I don't bash any style of the bully. I think ultimately, our goal is just to better the breed. For me, that's how I feel, is to better the breed. I can't say what's better or worse. I would say, within Maximus Prime, we do have some micros and some exotics. It's not something that I really push personally, as far as, going to show and putting them in the ring. But, that is something that we're venturing into just to dabble in it, just to see, is it good or bad, but I want to see it. I guess as a group, we want to see it firsthand. We want to know. I don't really like to base my opinion off of someone else's experience. I like to base it off of firsthand knowledge. And so, I don't bash it. I don't really feel like we know enough as of yet. I think we hear a lot about the health issues, and so those are definitely concerns. But it's not something that I really know for a fact for myself. So I don't really like to, really bash something or talk about it without really knowing.
I got a question for you, because
okay,
you see a lot of people now switching up their programs and going to the new hot fads. What keeps you going with your program with the XL movement? What keeps you going?
Ultimately, I know that we produce healthy XLs. I know that we produce show quality XLs. I feel like that we, what we're doing in the XL class, I feel like we better the breed. I think we're helping the XL class stay very competitive, and then I really feel like we have a great formula. I think we really put together a great formula. I think we were very strategic with our moves, and it's paying off. And then as far as just staying course, staying on course and true to what we do. It's a passion, they're just big dogs. I like big dogs. I like a dog that has a presence, and ultimately I feel like we have dogs to get out there and for people to see him, and it's good for people to say, oh man, he's an amazing dog and this and that. But for me, man, I feel like my dogs still have a job to do. Ross still has a job to do. That's a hobby for Ross and I, to get in the ring and just show. But ultimately, Ross has a job to do. He is in my backyard, but he has a job to do. So he's not there just for people to look at him and say he's a beautiful dog. There's work to be done.
Let me ask you, who would you like to collaborate with when it comes to the XL dogs? Have you seen any out there you like? I would love to do something with that.
I would say now that Ross has accomplished the most of the goals, well, at least half the goals that we set, having built his name and all of that now, I would love to collaborate with the guy from Sick Intentions, with Caribou Lou. I think that would be a nice collaboration. Grand champion, XL Grand Champion, Saki Bomb. I would love to definitely with, I think it's Primo line, I would love to collaborate with him. I want to say, I don't really know her name. I think her name is Duke City something. It's a female, and I look at her. I see some of the dogs that she'll post, and she has some awesome females, and then, but I would probably say for me, the one breeding that I would love to do at Ross is a female up north. Her name is Daisy Blue. She's an ABKC XL champion, and that's the type of female I would love to breed Ross to. That would be my ultimate breeding for me.
Oh, you also is it Abomination? I think that's. Am I saying it right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up with that one? Is that a Dax son? Or
yes, it's a Dax
blood.
Son.
Dax
it's a Dax son.
Mm-hmm. That's a bad boy, man.
Abomination is Dax bred to Miss Photo Bucket. Miss Photo Bucket is an Ichiban daughter, and he's a very extreme boy. Good shoulders, good bone, great head, great muscle tone, and he's an awesome producer. He's a great dog. Great dog. Can't say anything bad about him. Awesome. It was great for us to be able to incorporate him into our program. Us and BWB, Big Worm Bullies. So we were able to collaborate with him and purchase Abomination.
Because you were talking about it earlier about maybe getting into the different styles of bullies.
Yes.
Well, so what would you like to incorporate next?
Well, we've I would say at this moment we definitely have XLs, extremes, standards, and pockets. I think we don't like to. Well, for me, I don't like to show my entire hand. I think bringing it out when it's ready. I don't really like to, show a lot of young dogs. I really feel like you got to give the dog an opportunity to grow up and develop and mature a little bit. I think, you don't really have room to get mad at people if they bash your dog or talk bad about your dog if you bring the dog out young and immature, because you just didn't give the dog a chance enough to mature. I feel like when you pull a dog out, you want to put your best foot forward. And so I would just say, being patient. So right now, the next bully I'll be pulling out is a pocket female. Her name, I call her The Rock. Her name is Roxy. She's a pocket female. She's just under a year. And she is actually Abomination granddaughter. And I think she's going to be awesome. I think she's definitely going to be awesome.
With the time running down, got two last questions for you.
Yes,
One
sir.
last question. And then how excited are you to be a part of the first RKC Nationals this year? And what would you like for people to know about yourself and your kennel?
Very excited about RKC Nationals. Every show that we hit, we are tuning up for Nationals. I was able to, we've been able to show RKC all year, and so like I said, we're tuning up for Nationals, and my goal is ultimately to go to Nationals and be very competitive, be very, very competitive. Ultimately, my goal is to go to Nationals and win as an XL. I don't think in any registry it has ever been done for XL to win Nationals, but that's the goal. And then as far as what I want people to know about Maximus Prime, that we are a family-owned and operated, kennel. That we play by the rules, that we're straight up people, that, we don't do this for a living. We do this because we love it. And that's it, that we're honest, straight up people.
And if they wanted to get in contact with you, how could they do it?
You could check us out at eastcoastbully.com, www.eastcoastbully.com, and our email and our contact information is on the website. And you can check me out on Facebook. My name is Antonio McCLENNY, Antonio Maximus Primes McCLENNY. And, you can hit me up anytime, send me a message. I'm a down-to-earth guy, laid back. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to fire away. And, ultimately I'll be myself and be honest with you.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you coming on tonight, being really candid and open, and I just really appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, man. It was an honor. It was a pleasure. When you first called me and asked me, like I said, man, I told my wife, man, I was blown away. I was blown away. Just happy to have the opportunity.
Hey, man, you blew me away when I first saw him at the Greensboro show, man. I was like, damn. I guess he was on point, man. So I love getting him in the ring, man. And I just appreciate everything you're doing, man, and continuing that with the XL movement, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Like I said, we still have work to do. Every time we step in the ring, we will be better. And so if you're preparing to face him, if you're preparing to face the Ross from the last show, unfortunately, it won't be a good thing because we are going to be better. We get better every single show, and so just having a critical eye and ultimately just being more critical of ourselves than we are of others, and and our goal is just to better the breed, man, to better the breed, to help the breed get shown in its proper light, man. So that's it.
I appreciate it, man. I'll see you at the next show, man. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Take care.
Sir, man. I appreciate it. All right.
That was Antonio McCLENNY, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank him for coming on tonight, giving an insight on the XL movement, learning more about him and his life, and man, he got a bad boy in Rick Ross, man. He works hard with that boy, keeps him on point. And I have no doubts he'll soon be also RKC Grand Champion as well. I want to thank each and every listener tuning in tonight. And tonight, man, I just ask each and every listener that hears the sound of my voice, man, please say a special prayer for Deja. As you know, June 3rd, which is, I guess, that'll be on Tuesday. She goes in for a pacemaker. So I just ask each and every listener, please say a prayer for her and her family. Now, right now, I just want to say a special prayer like, dear God, please watch over her, watch over the surgeons as they go in to place the pacemaker inside of her, that nothing goes wrong during the process. Continue to keep your angels dispatched around her at all times. Dear God, continue to keep the family strong and strengthened during this time and their faith up. And thank you for the many blessings in Jesus' name. Amen. And I just want to thank each and every listener again who tuned in tonight. Tune in next week. I got the bad boy of the bully world, Bobby, coming through. Man, I'm telling you, that's going to be a very candid, open conversation, because that's what we do on Bully Talk, man. Not only do we talk about bullies, we talk about life and life situations. And I'm going to continue to do that as long as I'm on the mic, man. I just appreciate each and every listener from the East Coast to the West Coast to Puerto Rico, overseas. Thank you so much for the support with the movement. And also, your boy, don't forget this summer, October 16th and 17th, man. Thank you, Rico, man, from Precious Spit Kennels, for bringing me up to Mass for that IBKC 4-show event with the weight pull. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you. I'm very appreciative about that. Then the following weekend, Stephen Robinson is bringing me out to the RKC Midwest Finals. Man, I'm looking forward to that event as well. You know, coming through Chicago, O'Hare Airport, then shoot up to Valparaiso, Indiana. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you want me to come out to your show, just get in contact with me. I'm not expensive at all, man. $350 to bring me out and take care of the hotel and other stuff. And that's it, man. And we get it popping from there. And thank each and every listener once again for tuning in tonight, as we do each and every Sunday. We go out on a positive note. Right, God bless baby girl Deja. Stay strong. I know the surgery is going to be successful. And thank each and every one who contributed to the GoFund raising money. Thank you so much. God bless.
Say goodbye for now. We'll have our second time around. But before you go, there's something I'd like to say. Everything's not what it seems. There's a stronger force behind the scenes. He's alive every day. He's right there when we call. In him is where my strength lies. I lift my eyes beyond the sky. Only he can save my life, and only he can hear my cry. I wanna thank you, God, for giving me one more day to raise my voice and to sing your praise. I sing it out loud, I sing it all day. This song is my prayer I give to only you. I know it can't compare to the gift from you. You gave me your love. You gave me your son. Oh, yes you did. Oh, hey. I know there's some who don't believe. Sometimes it's very hard to see. You live the full life every day. Some things don't go your way. But to be without is not his will. There's cattle on 1,000 hills and they're all yours to claim a minute holy name. You don't have to beg a crown, no. He can see you standing proud and tall. He'll give it everlasting love. Just come to him as you are. I wanna thank you, God, for giving me one more chance to raise my voice and to sing your praise. I sing it out loud, hey, I sing it all day. This song is my prayer I give to only you. gave me your love. You gave me your son. Now I say amen.